And next panelist, we'd like to introduce Dr. Caroline Ting, the Director of International Relationship at the Logica Universalis Association, specializing in intercultural study and art. Let's welcome Dr. Caroline Ting.
First of all, I would like to thank so much Venerable Aoife for this very kind invitation and for all this wonderful team and these wonderful scholars here with whom I'm learning so much. So I would like to, other than express my gratitude, dedicate this talk to Professor Robinson's mother, because this talk is about the visions of afterlife. As I have a Brazilian mother and used to have a Chinese father, these are questions that were haunting me. What happens in afterlife throughout these different traditions and cultures? So in this talk, I'm going to present you some images that hopefully will allow us to take a moment, reflect, and meditate, because each one of them are giving us some insight about aesthetic traditions. And if you look further, we might find some similarities and some underlying structure beyond them. So with some reserves, I'm going to use the word paradise, but you can assimilate to as you feel more comfortable. Paradise from the Greek paradeisos, which means beyond this enclosed garden or park. And it can be attached to several cultural concepts, as you all know. This project has been done together with my organization, which is the Logica Universalis Association, and our partner organization, LARA. So I have to acknowledge my team for all the support, and the friends here who also gave me a lot of support in shaping this talk. So why logic and religion? Because we have the same goals here as getting together a group of scholars and theologians to discuss advancements in religious traditions and bringing a bridge. So how do we imagine paradisiac or heavenly structures? How can we understand? How can we conceptualize? So we have seen throughout these examples so far a lot of concentric circles, and I would like you to keep these in mind and take the moment also to look how the AI, when I use, for instance, Midjourney, but you can use any other tool. In this case, I asked for logic structures of the paradise. So AI gave me a lot of these concentric circles. It might be explaining us what is the underlying structure throughout these examples in art history. So which are these images created by artificial intelligence, and what can we learn from them? And other variations here. So we know that AI is collecting data throughout our traditions. Which are these religious traditions, mythologies, tales, and legends that these compositions approach? So I took here some examples that you're all familiar to, like the Temple of Heaven, and we can see these concentric circles and the square together. It seems that exists some underlying unity. So even in Taj Mahal in Agra, we see that we have the heavenly realm, represented by the white building, and the earthly realm represented by the brown building. And the idea of symmetry seems to be also an underlying unity throughout us. And also, it is used the golden ratio that you all know to build this architectural plan. I forgot to mention that I work as a professor here in Taiwan at the Department of Design with a group of urban designers and architects. So this is also part of our study. I don't want to be limited to geometric shapes, so I'm going to give you other examples as well. This one, for instance, of Hieronymus Bosch, of the Garden of Earthly Delights, also represented paradise. But we also have other ideas that could be not only garden, but mountains of immortals, as we had this exhibition here, the Taiwan's National Palace, or islands in this Luther Bible in the 16th century, or grow to heavens, or it may be not a place, maybe a state of mind, like enlightenment or moksha. So these illustrations, generated by artificial intelligence or art history, they might help us reflect which patterns are most widely present in our ordinary imagery, which are more often observed and which are neglected. And in our previous talks, the professors have explained here how diffusion models work, turning data into noise, and they explained how the machine is trained to reverse the process as well, and to create new images. So thank you so much for this explanation so far. So I can move forward and take more time to talk about the diffusion models in the structures in art. So, for instance, here in the Christian tradition, I'm taking the most iconic and most diffused models that we have here. For instance, the east doors of the paradise. And we know that these doors, they are the landmark for the Renaissance traditions, right? This competition to make the doors of paradise. And we have, again, here the concentric circles for this baptistry in Florence. And even the mechanism, we have the Chinese Machinean diagram of the universe, something similar as well. So we can take a look and contemplate these beautiful images created by all these artisans. In Islam as well, we can see this 19th century Persian miniature depicting the artisans' impressions of heaven. So these geometric circumscriptions that we see since the Neolithic period, they might give us some explanations in something that may be underlying human and can connect us. And we see the diagrams of cosmos and the wheels of existence, in which we have the center and each one of these layers, I see them like an architectural plan or an urban design project, in which you have fields, and we humans are there. We are the only ones who can achieve nirvana, right? And although AI cannot achieve enlightenment, it can help us to contemplate, to meditate, and to experience the sacred. So AI does not need to understand what is sacred in order to help us to have the experience of the sacred. So we have this plan here, our architectural plan, I'm going to call like this, because the way I see it is just like this sectional axiometric view, and this mausoleum, I'm going to ask you to look forward. Just like when you see the center of a tanka, take a look at this unit cell. So when you're passing through this kaiseri here, you may just not notice that this unit cell is telling us something about the worldview of this culture. And we have to take a look in how this unit cell is constructed. When you take the construction lines, it is just like a Penrose tile. 500 years before, Penrose discovered the Penrose tiles, right? So these artisans are asking us to look at this algorithm that they created that allows some shape to be infinitely grown. And just like the number pi that grows infinitely, but without repetition, that is an example of observation of life and universe. And it seems that we have these dialogues of cosmological symmetry and sacred geometry throughout history. And I think that this is the main point of this talk. What is sacred and what is essentially human? So we use the word logic and religion, using this polysemic word from logos that means rationality. It also has a sacred meaning and also means science. Some here are other examples. And this is the point that I want to make. I'm going to finish with this engraving by Albrecht Dürer, in which we have hidden there in the right up corner this magic square. So just like the previous examples here, Dürer, coming from a Platonic tradition, is trying to ask us to take a look on these shapes around us. And we have here an angel contemplating these geometric patterns and shapes. And Dürer did not know about the magic numbers in the Liu Shu, in the Chinese tradition. But again, it seems that there is some underlying unity that connects us. These magic squares, just like the other examples that we saw so far, the architectural examples, and the tankas and the beautiful paintings that we saw across different religions, they are asking us to see and to listen to their voices. Just like Victor Hugo claimed that architecture is a book written in stone, I would like to invite us to go through our lives, enter a museum, and contemplate and meditate in front of all these voices that are telling us what connect us all as humans. Thank you so much for being with me today.